Hi, I'm Margaret Ann Lembo, and I'm here with you right now to share with you about animal totems in the Gemstone Kingdom. And the category that we're connecting with tonight, you and I, are creepy crawlers. Wanted to pick a segment of the uh, various types of animals, insects, reptiles, etc. And because we're so close to Halloween, I thought the creepy crawlers would be a good one for tonight's presentation to share with you some ideas to uplift and inspire. So thank you for being with me tonight. So tonight, what I'm basing this information on is my book, Animal Totems in the Gemstone Kingdom, and the accompanying deck, two separate publications. I just wanted to share with you that whatever year I published this, I don't even remember what year it was, I woke up with a realization as if actually I was given the title in my dream time, I guess, because I woke up and I heard or knew the title Animal Totems in the Gemstone Kingdom, Spiritual Connections of Crystal Vibrations and Animal Medicine. So I quickly got out of bed, went into my office, and I quickly wrote an email to two publishers that like publishing me, thank you both, and sent them the request if they were interested in the publications. So I was able to do that, a thank you, to get these published with a nice publisher. And they actually even kept the title, which was really great because that doesn't normally happen. Normally, when you start a publication or you're writing a book or a deck, there's a working title that you work with, and then it usually changes when it's published. Anyway, so tonight's talk is to go over some of these connections between the animals and certain gemstones and why they might be vibrationally matching, and also so that as you get to know the various animal totems as they appear in your life, you can understand what they might be trying to tell you because it's symbolically messages from the divine, from earth vibrations itself. So I start out with spider and the Picasso stone. This is the Picasso stone. And Picasso stone always has reminded me of a spider web. So I found it to be a perfect connection. And so spider is one of what I consider one of my main totems. Um, Mostly because when did my vision quest back in like 1991, I did it at the foot of what you're seeing right here, that Spider Rock on Dene Land in the Navajo Nation. And it's a very sacred place. And Spider Rock is where Spider Woman, which is how would I say it, in the Navajo Dene cosmology, was one of the creatresses of all that is. And so, spider medicine, when a spider shows up in your world, these are some questions you can pose to yourself and ask yourself. Do you realize that you are the one who creates your world? Yep. We create our own reality, and all the different things from so many of you that are watching, sharing, participating in what I like to talk about in my publications that I have in my books and decks is whatever we think about, we create. In fact, one of the Spider Woman stories. There was a wrinkle in time. Spider Woman, she wasn't a spider, she was a, amazing supernatural being. When she had a thought, just by having the thought, it created a wrinkle in time, and it started to bring forth and manifest what it is that she thought just by having the thought. Us too, we have that same experience. So the next question is, are you consciously creating the circumstances around you? Because you can consciously create circumstances. And that way you're the one that's designing your reality. In fact, my first book, Chakra Awakening, is about transforming your reality and making your world based on working with crystals and gemstones and such. So then the third question I pose here for you to contemplate with spider medicine and Picasso stone in mind is, have you taken the necessary action to make your dreams come true? Because we can, you know, say we want this, that, or the other, whatever it is, whether it's very mundane or very esoteric. But the bottom line is, what action has been taken to make it so? Make it so. So this picture on the left is a picture of the Picasso stone spider card from the Animal Allies and Gemstone Guardians cards. And so these are things to think about. Have you noticed the writing on the wall? Do you need to express yourself through the written word? And so contemplate these things and incorporate them in your life, because writing, whenever spider shows up in my world, it means, Margaret, get writing. Because sometimes I'll see a series of spiders. There was one, I think it was just last summer. Was it this last summer or the summer before? Not that long ago. So many spider webs on so many of my shrubs and bushes around my home. And it was a lot of them. And it's like, wow, I really have some writing to get done. And I'm doing it. It's happening, but still have a lot more to write. So here's ant medicine. One of the legends, and this is my version of the legend of ant medicine, is that when Spider Woman was one involved in gathering up the people who are aligned with the divine, that still listened and paid attention to God, Goddess, Creator. And Ant would go, I mean, not Ant, Spider Woman would gather the people and say, okay, there's going to be a major disaster happening on planet Earth, and follow me into the Earth. And so, and there were the four worlds of the Hopi, and that you can read about more professionally than how I'm going to share it today. There's a great book by Frank Waters, and we do carry it, the Book of the Hopi, that talks about the four worlds. And in one case, it has to do with the Earth is destroyed by fire. Another case, it's water, and so on. And like right now, we're in the middle of what I consider one of those worlds with the global pandemic. And then it's determined by how people act or react, whether they follow by going within. And ant medicine was one of the teachings of going within, going underground, so to speak, to go within and know the truth, and to stay focused on the task at hand and maintaining a sense of organization. But part of that legend that I loved was, during that time, the ant people allowed humans, the two-leggeds, to come down into their place, their world, and stay there until whatever the disaster was over. And it was a while before the earth cooled. Let's say it was the fire, and I'm sharing this as an analogy. If maybe it was either the water had to recede or the fire had to go out, but the humans went underground into the ants' homes, and they shared their food, and they stayed a very long time, and longer than they had anticipated. So one of the cute little parts of the story that I like to share about ant medicine is that they were so generous with what they had that they held back and didn't eat themselves. And one of the legends is, they got so, then they had to keep tightening their belts, because they were giving the food to the humans that were their guests. And that's why their waists are so tiny. I just love that cute little story, but there's a lot of meaning in that, and many levels to that teaching about ant medicine and going within and underground, so to speak. So when ant shows up in your life, you want to be able to focus on maintaining organization and working as a team, working together, harmonious community action. And red calcite is the matching gemstone to work with ant medicine. And I'm going to open up my book here to ant. one moment. And I want to read the message from Ant, and it's take notice of your ability to work harmoniously with others. Be sure you are prepared for the future and have supplies in store for unexpected storms or delays in obtaining food. Cultivate ways to be welcoming and gracious with guests in your home, as well as with those who come into your business. Ant medicine. Message from Ant. All righty. So bee. So I love bees, and I'm sure you do too. Bee is a favorite of mine because I am a gardener. I love to garden. That's one of the reasons why the store is called the Crystal Garden. And bee also has a lot to do with connecting with people in a way that is, again, working together as a community, the hive mentality. So it says right here on the screen, Bee Totem will help you work with others with a clearly defined understanding of your part in the community. And we do have parts in our community, and our actions and reactions do affect others very much so, energetically and literally. So the brown energy of the calcite helps you realize your spiritual connection with Mother Earth. So the question is are you ready to be all that you can be? I love that. And also, when bee medicine comes into your life, it's also about embracing the sweetness of life, and it's, you know, all the good things that are here. So let me read you a little bit more. I like to refer to my book for this. The brown energy, I already said that. Use the stone in connection with nature spirits, the honey calcite. If the energy of bee is working overtime, relax with this gemstone to restore balance and remember to enjoy the sweetness of life. Embrace the power of gardening as emotional therapy. The stone provides a sense of safety and security. The bee affirmation. I am fertile with great ideas. I am focused and creative. It's easy for me to be creative and bring a project to fruition. Building and creating are joyful experiences for me, and so on. And there's more. So, bee medicine. So, if bee shows up, keep those things in mind. Now, beetle medicine. I just got some gorgeous Charoite in. Too far to reach. I have some of it. It's hot off the UPS truck. We will show some of that in the show after this presentation, or the Crystal Garden Facebook, Shop the Crystal Garden from Home show on Facebook. So the Charoite energy is something that helps with transformation, for transforming situations. It also helps with allowing chaos, creative chaos, to assist in that transformation, because sometimes things have to get a little chaotic too. But the thing with beetle that I understood and understand from working with the energy of some of the information from the Egyptian lineages is that the beetle would lay its eggs in dung, in caccaroni, in the caca, and wrap their babies or their eggs up into that and roll it. And then, but from the lesson I learned from the beetle and having their their offspring birthed out of dung, is that from the darkness and what seems to be not so nice, what I affectionately refer to as caccaroni, from that emerges new life, new beginnings, new starts. And so there's something positive that comes out of what at first you're like, oh my, you got to be kidding me. And then if we allow it to evolve and let it become what it's supposed to be, we end up with something that's very, very beautiful, which in the case of the beetle is a new life. So, Beetle Totem is an ally to help you work through challenging situations by maintaining a strong outer protection while still being flexible because that outer shell of the beetle is strong. The presence of beetle alerts you that there are messages and signals being sent to you by your friends, family, coworkers, and colleagues that affect you vibrationally. And also working with Charoite helps with establishing boundaries and maintaining personal power. So crab and trilobite. So look at how these two are together. So the trilobite is an aquatic feature, is an aquatic fossil, I'll say. And for those of you that know what a horseshoe crab looks like, it looks a lot like that to me, like an ancient horseshoe crab. When I was growing up in New York, we were blessed with a summer home in Breezy Point, and there were these big brown horseshoe crabs that at first would be very, they looked archaic to me, and they were scary. But then as I got used to seeing them, it wasn't so bad. I still didn't want to get any near them at all. But they have quite the filtration system. So there's what this both crab and a trilobite has a lot to do with dealing with our emotions, because any kind of water creature that come up shows up in our life or appears, because the way that these animals show up isn't just that you're on the beach and you see a crab. It could be that all of a sudden you keep seeing like maybe somebody's logo that has a crab, or you see a story that has to do with crabs, or there's some part of a movie that has crabs in it, and they give you repetitive, sequential, but you keep seeing it. That's where you need to pay attention. It's like, oh, I should look up what crab medicine is. What does that mean? So this helps you to soften up that outer shell that sometimes we put a hard exterior, much like we saw with the beetle, it's a hard exterior, but that there's very much a very vulnerable emotional part of us. So that it even says right here, I put here, these are excerpts out of um, Animal Totems in the Gemstone Kingdom. The crab has a hard outer shell, which is a symbol of protection of the emotional body. So sometimes we need to soften up that shell and allow that shell to soften so we can grow, so we can move forward. And and the way that crab moves forward is in a more of a sideways kind of a way too. So if you have any Cancer in your chart, astrological chart, or whether it's a sun or a rising sign or a lot of planets in the sign of Cancer, or even in the fourth house, that would also be indicative to pay attention to your emotions and how you approach dealing with your emotions. So this is, deal with highly sensitive people all the time. We're all highly sensitive. This last sentence here on the screen, trilobite is a good fossil to work with in order to become highly sensitive while still being protected from others' energies, because you have that shell, you have that vibrational ally to maintain a shell that is just enough that you don't have to absorb other people's emotional fields. So crab, this is the message straight out of the book. So instead of reading from the book, I'm reading from the page here. You may be in need of protection. Being very sensitive to the feelings and emotions of others, you may need to spend time alone in order to feel balanced. You're a highly sensitive person and extremely intuitive. Use your intuition as a filtering system to keep unwelcome energies from interfering with your inner peace. See, that sentence is important to me because we see everything through our own filter. Everything we experience is our own personal filter of all the experiences we've had up to this moment in time, and that's how we're seeing life, is through that filter. So sometimes we need to go within to to really be contemplative and have realizations of why we're acting or reacting certain ways, and that way we can find peace in our emotional body, mental body, spiritual body, and physical body. So to go on here, it is important to recognize when it is safe to let those boundaries down in order to let others into your life. So by taking time to be contemplative, we can have that realization. So crocodile. So here in Florida, we have alligators, but Crocodile is who I put in my book, and I had to just have a page just for him on the page because with orange calcite, because I wanted to really emphasize the look of this creature. Mamma mia. So, crocodile is about patience, observation, and dealing with changes. And orange calcite is the perfect gemstone as an ally to deal with changes. So, one of the things about crocodile medicine, which hopefully you don't have to see that, in person, unless you're at a zoo or some outdoor location where you're safe from the crocodile. But if crocodile shows up in your life somehow, some way, symbolically even, you might want to observe if you conceal, that you may even need to conceal yourself and your motives, or if you should. Well, it's the same thing, isn't it? Or maybe you have been and it's time to not be that way anymore. Sometimes it is best to keep our motives and personal realizations to ourselves. We don't have to share everything. In fact, the next question to contemplate, these are all directly out of my book, excerpted, the whole thing. Do you need to shut your mouth about something? Are you patient? Are you resistant to change? See, this is a lesson that I've had to work on is just to keep my mouth shut. Sometimes it's better not to say anything at all. Just go within. Crocodile Totem is an ally to assist you when you want to keep your plans or projects a secret from others. Ambush is crocodile's method of hunting, which requires the use of its extraordinary sense of smell and sight while submerged and out of sight. So here again, it's about going within, going down, going inside our own consciousness and be aware of our other senses. So we have the six senses: clairvoyance, sight; clairaudience, hearing; clairsentience, you get feelings; um, clairaudience, claircognizance, you just know; and then there's clairolfaction, your sense of smell. This is beyond the ordinary, your sense of the extraordinary sense of smell, and also the clairgustation, which is the sense of taste, which is very associated with the sense of smell. So sometimes we need to use those senses on a metaphysical level instead of being right out there blatantly. Just go inside and be quiet. Patience is a key trait of crocodile, and therefore, this is something that might be beneficial to incorporate in your life. So, the orange calcite, as a matching vibrational gemstone, helps you adapt to changes in your environment. And right now, we've had significant changes in our environment because of the global pandemic. We're still in the global pandemic, and not all things are as it used to be. So that is very frustrating for many, many people. So orange calcite is really helpful to help you adapt to the changes that have occurred and to help you strengthen, to find your strengths from this experience and come out the other side better than before. Because we got to find something positive as far as I'm concerned. There's got to be something good, right? So this is one of my favorite matches of Earthworm and Stromatolite. Doesn't that stone look like that's earth with worms going through it? I think it does. It's really cool. So I love earthworms because as a gardener, earthworms are important for fertilization and for filtration and for aerating the soil. It's just so beneficial for the soil and for putting their nutrients because they're eating stuff and then pooping it out, and that poop is then becomes nutrients. So on the big analogy, on a greater perspective, we're talking about poop a lot tonight, eh? Um, we take in things in our life, we take in experiences. Then, hopefully, we integrate and digest those experiences, take the nutrients that are necessary, meaning we take the lessons we learn the lessons, and then whatever is no longer for our highest good, we release, let go of, and that becomes fertilizer. It creates fertile ground for future experiences because we learned from our experience. I just love that whole analogy. There's so many gardening analogies. Maybe that's a book I should write. Probably somebody already has. So Earthworm guides you as you process, integrate, and digest what you find within your belief systems, because we all have different belief systems, so that your experiences become rich fertilizer as you progress along this earth walk, your life journey. So that's just summing up what I just said. Earthworm offers support when you experience shamanic spiritual travel into the underworld of your consciousness, both your unconscious and subconscious mental and emotional bodies. So even working with this gemstone of stromatolite, use that as a tool for deriving ancient knowledge, ancient wisdom, information that has been around and is available for a long time, because they are among the oldest fossils on Earth. They're considered to be more than 3 billion years old. Wow, huh? The layers in stromatolite contain ancient records of life on Earth, and therefore it stores ancient wisdom. So that nice connection and feeling the vibration of the stone and understanding the vibration of the animal totem, earthworm, is a powerful tool. You know, most people, I mean, me, I wouldn't have necessarily, years ago, I never would have thought, oh, I want earthworm as my animal totem. I think it's a very good totem to have. So, frog and green dyed agate. You know, I haven't written much of anything, obviously, on the screen here in regard to frog. I wanted to just talk about frog medicine. There's so many aspects to frog. When frog shows up in your life, it's definitely about paying attention to taking a leap forward, being brave enough to leap forward in your life, taking action, moving forward. Sometimes it also has to do with having enough water and hydration and taking a sip of water, thank you, on a regular basis for purification. Frogs are about purification. They're also good luck in many, many philosophies or cultures, is what I want to say. And so that brings blessings and all kinds of good luck for you. It's often used as a feng shui cure to have fossil frog medicine, those little frogs with the I Ching coin in their mouth. We even carry them here at the Crystal Garden. And I feel like there's one other thing I wanted to say about frog. It will come to me. But the dyed green agate, well, let me open up my book. That will help too. The dyed green agate, agate doesn't necessarily um, naturally occur as green. It's more often than not, it's dyed. And I personally I don't mind having dyed stones at all. I think they're beautiful. I think that they have their place in our world as because they help us in our life because of the coloring. And we have some gorgeous dyed green agate spheres tonight on our show at the Crystal Garden Facebook show. So here, message from Frog. This is number 36. There are 88 animals in this book, Animal Totems in the Gemstone Kingdom. Get ready to leap forward with joy and enthusiasm. It signals a powerful time for manifesting your heart's desires, including but not limited to business success, a new home, romance, or the birth of a child, because they also represent fertility. You are ready for this. Even if you don't feel you are ready, take some action to prepare for a sudden metamorphosis. Transform yourself and live the life of your dreams. Frog affirmation. I gently release toxins and unnecessary clutter from my life. Ugh, I am in the process of releasing clutter. Anyway, so that's just some of it. You can read more in that book, but that gives you a little bit of an idea. So grasshopper, another, taking forward, leaping motion, moving forward, but also vision. There's so much that has to do with the vision that this grasshoppers are have the ability to see and know because of their ability, their eyes and how much they can see. And that can help to avoid unnecessary mistakes or threats. So, just as a grasshopper is a symbol of wealth, health, and happiness, chalcopyrite, which is the gemstone that's the matching vibration, amplifies these qualities, creating a perfect set of allies using both together, both of those energies. So, that's another leaping forward animal totem as well. Now, Ladybug. So, Ladybug is a favorite of mine because I grew up with ladybugs in the garden with my mom. And there are legends about how the people in a village were praying during some kind of I guess it was a drought or some problem that had to do with the crops. I should know this by heart, but I don't at the moment remember the exact circumstances. But they prayed to Mother Mary, the Divine Mother, and asked for help so that their crops would survive and they would. I guess it was probably had something to do with that the ladybugs, when they did arrive, they probably ate the other insect that was killing their crops. So all these ladybugs showed up and the crops survived and everything got better. So they named the ladybugs Ladybug after Mother Mary because they felt it was like a miracle. So Ladybug Totem, in addition to that, it's good luck and prosperity and happiness, is a totem that keeps away pesky people and situations because they, as an analogy or literally, kept away the insects, the pests that were affecting their crops. So, Ladybug, an image, a vibration of blessings and well being in your life. So, Heliodor, the gemstone Heliodor, which I don't come across all that often, although I'm always on the lookout for it, is a reminder and an ally to be consciously aware of your thoughts so you can discard those are outdated and replace them with thoughts that focus on the life you want to live. Create your own reality with every thought. We all do, every single one of us. Praying mantis. So when praying mantis jumps into our life, it's all about observing transformational leaps, whether it's in our consciousness or personal development in somehow, some way in our life. When praying mantis comes in for me, I also potentially want to pray more. I already pray a lot. I pray for a lot of people and myself and my husband and all my family all the time. Prayer is very important and it really makes a difference. That's my personal belief system. So anyway, Mookai jasper is a really good grounding force. Mookai jasper is specifically out of Australia, and it helps you with making forward motion, especially the red vibration of the Mookai jasper, because it comes in varying shades from mauves and gray, burgundies and yellow, as you can see here on the screen right now. So this is about also making personal leaps in your development, but in a grounded way. Excuse me, getting all worked up. I'm drying out my own mouth here. Snake and black obsidian. Snake is all about transformation. What do you need to transform? What do you need to cut through? What layers need to be released, to be removed? Snake medicine is actually from something that's very powerful and very positive. It's often related to shamanic work and working with deep emotions. Black obsidian in general is actually a glass that's naturally forming from a volcanic glass that's formed in the earth. And so working with black obsidian can help you release emotions that are no longer for your highest good. It helps if you use the arrowhead, it's also an energy of like cutting away what's the cords of attachment. And snake is also symbolically about shedding the layers, shedding the skin. They get rid of a layer of their skin and so that they can move forward and they have to really work at getting that skin off of them so that they have a fresh new start on their physical body. So new cycles, new beginnings. There's a lot of symbology with snake. So I'm starting to move a little bit faster because we're out of time. So turtle and Prasiolite, which is Prasiolite is a green amethyst. So working with this particular animal, turtle, it helps you connect with all the cycles of the moon. It's also about going within, turtle going inside the shell. Again, another animal reminding you to go inside. So to work with your practice of contemplation, of meditation, of quiet time versus being always out and about and being out in the world, which is okay too, but to make sure there's a balance between the two. And working with the energy of the cycles of the moon is also about having balance between inward and outward work as well. So reflection and spending time alone and thinking and writing. And so the Prasiolite is a green variety of quartz, often referred to as green amethyst, and it's a really great tool to help you stay focused and work through on a steady work toward your goal at a steady pace, which is also vibrationally like a turtle. Slow and steady wins the race. And we are done with this beautiful little time we've had together. I hope this gave you some ideas, some insights, some inspiration, something you can work with for the future. If you wish, that book is available, Animal Totems and the Gemstone Kingdom, and the matching deck, Animal Allies and the Gemstone Guardians cards. And next week, we're going to have, again, a little meditation for quieting the mind at 5:45, and then followed by the Empath's Guide to Clearing Your Space. So we'll be talking about different essential oils, but also how to work with sage and other techniques for clearing space, especially because we're getting closer and closer to Halloween and All Souls Day and All Saints Day, and all that is a portal of energy. And we want to be honoring and respecting of that portal of time that's a cross quarter between the fall equinox and the winter solstice. All right, well, know that you can always watch one of these experiences, one of these meditations, or my workshops are all available on YouTube at youtube.com/Margaret Ann Lembo. Subscribe, please, and that way you can be notified if you wish to know when another one is available to watch. Usually they're up weekly, the meditation and also the workshop. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I hope you'll join us in a few moments when we get ready to start our show here at the Crystal Garden Facebook page. See you soon. Much love. Many blessings. Thanks for watching.